Great. So thank you, all of you, to join us for this webinar. We hope you will enjoy it. It's aiming at providing you information about funding opportunities from European programs regarding geothermal project, all kind of geothermal technologies for electricity, heating and cooling, thermal, underground storage, and of course, minerals such as the lithium. To start, I will give the floor to Luca for the official welcome as chair of ETIP-Geothermal. Luca, the floor is yours for this welcome.
Thank you, Philippe, and thank you everyone for joining this webinar. I'm very happy that we are following up on these EU funding opportunities. I think it's one of the most interesting topics that we work on as ETIP and together with EGEC. And I think it's very important for our R&I in geothermal that we keep track of the possibilities for funding, and we try to, on one side, help the European Commission as ETIP to drive the funding in the right direction, but on the other side also we exploit these opportunities that we're given. So we will continue doing this work, and I think now I can leave it to Julia for getting a bit deeper into these opportunities. Thank you very much for joining.
Indeed, we plan to have a 1 hour and a half maximum discussion, and it will be presented by my two colleagues, Giulia Cittadini and Emile Martini. You can see that we will deep dive in different European programs. A large part will be about Horizon Europe, not only the traditional call on geothermal, not only the open call, but maybe some lessons learned from the recent call closed and awarded, just so you can see the picture of this program. Emile will deep dive on Innovation Fund. It's attracting a lot of interest. Let's see a bit also the lessons learned from the recent auction and briefing about the call just recently opened. We look at also the live program. One less familiar for you, the cross-border renewable energy project, maybe also less competitive, so maybe for some opportunity. We look at export with the Global Gateway. Indeed, there are several funding opportunities to export outside third countries, outside Europe. Let's see from Julia what will be the opportunities. And we have a pleasure also to have Gerdy Brambrock from RVO to present the new call from the CET partnership, who are used always to present the CET partnership goals in this webinar. So hope you will enjoy it. You can use the chat, the Q&A, if you have any questions. Panelists will try to answer you when they can. And we have also oral Q&A at the end of the event. Julia, the floor is yours to start with.
Great, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm Giulia Cittadini, Senior Advisor here at EGEC. And we are going to look a bit at Horizon Europe. The first part of this presentation will look like at the results of the past calls, and then we move towards what's next. What are the calls that are open now and that can be of interest for the sector? So, looking at this call on novel approaches to geothermal resources development, this call, the deadline for submission was on September 2025. It was covered during the past webinar on funding opportunities. The budget was around 20 million and 10 per projects. We see that 17 proposals were submitted. Only four were above the threshold. The funding threshold was around 14 points, and only 2 proposals were retained for funding, as stated in the description of the proposal project. So the second project that we looked here, it's regarding phase out fossil fuel in energy intensive industry through the efficient integration of renewable energy sources. Here, the deadline for submission was in February of this year. The budget allocation was around 15 million and 7.5 per project. What happened here? 35 proposals were submitted, so increasing number. 14 were above the threshold, and the threshold here was around 14.50. And only 2 retained for funding. So already here we see how this project proposal was really, really competitive. And we are going to see this for all the project proposal that I'm going to present you. This call regarded innovative solutions for generative AI-powered digital spine of the EU energy system. So indeed, in the past webinar, we covered, of course, energy topics that are related for the geothermal sector, but also now the integration with digital AI. And we are seeing how this topic is getting more and more attention, more funding, of course. So look out for this kind of projects. In this case, the budget allocation was around 16 million and 80 million per 8 million per project. The deadline again was in February, mid-February 2026. In this case, 56 proposals were submitted, so a huge number. Only 10 above the threshold. In this case, the funding threshold was around 15 points. Only 2 retained for funding. So this call was really, really competitive. Then we move to the development of innovative solutions, strengthening the security of renewable energy value chains. And in this case, the budget, I think, was 30 million. Probably there is a mistake here, but it was 2 million per project and 3 projects to be awarded. 33 proposals were submitted, 17 above the threshold. In this case, the threshold was around 1450 point, and only 3 retained for funding. For this call on innovative tools and services to manage and empower energy communities, the budget was around 20 million, 10 million per project, and only 2 projects to be awarded. Deadline again was mid-February. 43 proposals were submitted. Only 2 were retained for funding, and 21 were above the threshold, which was around 15 points. So we see really the high level of interest for this kind of calls. And that's why also we are going to present you other funding opportunities that do not relate only to Horizon, that we see now together how competitive it is. So there are other opportunities. Underground thermal energy storage in dense urban areas. In this case, the budget allocation in total was around 18 million and 6 per project. Initially, 3 projects were supposed to be awarded, but we see that only 2 were retained for funding. 20 proposals were submitted, 15 above the threshold. So in this case, the ratio was quite good. But we see also the point for passing the threshold was a bit lower than the other calls, so around 13. But as I said, only 2 out of 20 were retained for funding. Then on-site, innovative robotic and automated solutions and techniques for more sustainable and less disruptive building renovation and construction. The budget allocation was around 15 million, 5 million per project. And here again, 3 projects were supposed to be awarded. In this case, it was like that. 72 proposals submitted. This is probably one of the most competitive one that we are going to see. So really huge interest toward this call. 34 above the threshold, which was of 14 points. And as I said, only 3 were retained for funding. So if you see 3 out of 72 gives, you know, the idea of how competitive it is to participate in this kind of calls. Then moving to this call, which is a bit different with respect to the others that we just saw. This case was scaling up deep tech ecosystem. The project allocation here was 5 million, so it was a smaller call, and only one project was supposed to be awarded. 12 proposals were submitted, 7 passed the threshold, which was around 14.40 points, and only one retained for funding. So here we see a bit, it was definitely less competitive than the others, the other calls. Then we move to this interesting two-stage call, which regards next generation of renewable energy technologies. Just to give you a bit of the context, here the idea, the expected outcome is to break through and game-changing renewable energy technologies, enabling a faster transition. Also establishing a solid long-term dependable European innovation base. In this case, the budget, it's quite high. It's 23.50 million for per project. And of course, it can be of interest for geothermal, for EGEC, ultra-deep geothermal, storage technologies, that just to mention some that could fit easily in this kind of call. This is a two-stage, so there are 2 deadlines. The first already passed. So it was at the end of March of this year, and you see that more than 200 proposals were submitted, so huge number. The evaluation results will be communicated during this month. This is the latest news. Then there is a second stage, second deadline, which is on the 25th of October. So we'll see how this will go at the second stage. So now we move to the calls that are open and that are of interest for the sector to apply for, of course. So we see this call, it's a full-scale demonstration of heat upgrade solution in industrial processes. So the application is to the industrial sector. Very interesting topic also from a policy perspective. It's getting a lot of attention and attraction. In terms of expected outcome, we expect to have the industrial sector with significant heating demand in the EU and associated countries to develop pathway and business models. It's interesting here to see a possible combination with thermal energy storage. What's the scope? At the end of the day, just to satisfy the need for process heat in the more industrial sector. So a very interesting call. In this case, the budget allocated is of 18 million, 9 per project. It's already open and will close mid-September 2026. So there is still time to apply for this very interesting call. Moving to the second one, we have this covers validating policies and business models for affordable and sustainable housing. The expected outcome here is to better understand the factor and the interdependencies influencing levels of renovation of rental properties in the affordable housing sector. So here it covers more this aspect of affordable, sustainable housing. So there is the relevance of this topic is quite significant here. The scope indeed is research the effectiveness and implication of existing policies at different levels of governance, validate the methodology for comparing the affordable of different types of rented properties, and design validate new or improved solution for affordability while meeting decarbonization targets. So here the relevance for the geothermal sector is more in relation to the of course heat pumps and their application application, for this call. But not only. Here we just provide some example of how the geothermal sector could play within this call. The call as well, it's already open and will be closed mid-September again. Moving to this call, it's on resource assessment for deep sedimentary and basement reservoir. This is very classic call. In terms of expected outcome, here we expect it is expected to have major exploration challenges to relate to predicting deep sedimentary and basement reservoir to be addressed. Increase knowledge base for developers to unlock unexploited geothermal resources, increase drilling success rate, increase geothermal resources performance. So it's this. I don't even have to explain the relevance of this call for the geothermal sector, since it's really well designed to address the challenges of the geothermal sector in terms of resource assessment. Another expected outcome of this call that it's getting a lot of attention, it's the engagement of citizens and local communities that should benefit from this from renewable energy sources, which should be secure and affordable. The budget allocated for this call, it's around 18 million. 4.50 per project. So here we see more margin for the project that will be awarded. It's not open yet, and the deadline is expected to be on the 1st of December. So for this one, you have plenty of time to start building your consortium and then the right project to address this call. Then we have this one on data sharing to support the training and development of AI foundation models in the energy sector. Again, the interest here it's in seeing how the geothermal can play in relation to data and to AI, which is getting, as you know, a lot of attention at the European international level more in general. So in terms of expected outcome, here the idea is to have developed effective and innovative methodologies for gathering, sharing, using large data set in energy application for the purpose of training AI models. And enhance cooperation, of course, knowledge sharing and interoperability among energy systems. So this calls, it's very interesting to see how this data sharing and data collection can play a role also for the geothermal sector. In terms of budget, here it's around 30 million, so quite important, and 10 million per project. So very interesting call. The deadline for this call, it's on again on the 1st of December. Then this is bit of a different call in respect to those that I touch on until now. So it's a contest. It's a European Union contest, indeed, on lithium production for geothermal plants in Europe. So target specifically geothermal lithium, which is very interesting that has been developed in this way. The outcome here, of course, is to facilitate the wider uptake of geothermal energy system in the energy, industrial and residential sector, and contribute to the development of new renewable-based energy system in industry. And of course, the focus should be on lithium production, as you see in the scope. It's a contest, so it works a bit differently, no, of course, than respect to the calls that I presented. It's not open yet. It will be launched in the first month of the next year, 2027. And you see the winners will be selected a bit with a bit of a delay. So it will take some time, but still it's very interesting to apply for this kind of call and see the outcome, and we will follow up on the outcome. So you see the first winner will get 3 million, the second 1 million, the third 0.5 million. So very interesting call, entirely dedicated to geothermal lithium. Then on thermal energy optimization and waste heat recovery of high energy demand IT rooms in building or small edge data centers. We have this call where, of course, here the expected outcome is on improved open access to performance data, sharing of best practices, and useful knowledge and information for owners and operators of IT infrastructure. And this call fits perfectly in the strategies, the communication that the European Commission is producing in relation, of course, on our data center, the demand, the energy demand and thermal demand of this infrastructure. And we know that geothermal can play a relevant role, above all for cooling. So it's a very interesting call. The budget allocated, it's around 15.75 million, 5.25 million per project. And the call will open. It's for 2027, so there is plenty of time. Will open on the 5th of May of 2027 and will be closed by mid-September 2027. So very interesting to see the outcomes of this call. And with this, I close on the on Horizon Europe opportunities. As you see, it's from the past calls that were really competitive, but I'm sure that now my colleague Emile will present you other opportunities where for funding for geothermal projects. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Jim. Before giving the floor to Emile, just clarify one point from your first slide, Julia, because there were a lot of questions about it. Indeed, it was not a funding threshold, it was the score threshold. So 15 is 15, or 14 here is 15 on a maximum score of 15. Indeed, you have three criteria: excellence, impact, and implementation. Each criteria has a score of 3. You add all of them and you have a score of 15. It means that 14, it was you have 2 projects awarded. Maybe the first one had a score of 15 and the second was awarded with a score of 14. So the threshold is 14 and 15. You can see that the quality of the proposal is quite high because all the threshold were 14, 14.5, and we have seen a call with a threshold of 15. So it means all our project has excellent results. It was just maybe to refer to it, the case 2 years ago to a geothermal project on exploration. It was planned to have 2 awarded projects, but there were more than 4 with really high score, and the commission decided to increase the budget, and instead of 2 to give the funding for 4 proposals. So it's a case, but if you have really high quality, the commission can reflect and add higher budget to have all of them awarded. So I hope with that we clarify and answer your question. Emile, the floor is used for you for Innovation Fund.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Philippe. I'll now share my slides. Okay. So I will give you an overview of the EU Innovation Fund, both explaining a bit what it is for the ones from you that don't know about it, then a bit of the history of this fund and the new opportunities ahead. So to start off, the Innovation Fund is one of the world's largest funding programs for demonstration of innovative low carbon technologies. It's been active since 2021. Can you see my slide? Oh, sorry.
No, not yet. Indeed, we were waiting for
Okay. Sorry. They're not moving? No?
No, we cannot see them. I take this with a physical issue to answer some of your questions. You wanted to know if the presentation will be available. Yes, the video recording and presentation will be available to the participants.
Okay, sorry.
And now you can
that
see
is-
again. Perfect.
So as I was saying, it's active since 2021. And the idea by the Commission side is to provide around 40 billion of support in this through this decade, thanks to the carbon price or commercial demonstration of innovative low carbon technologies. The structure changed a bit during those years. Now it's in the current form provides for large scale, medium scale, and small scale projects, as we will see in a while. But the key criteria for you to keep in mind for which projects are selected is the effectiveness of greenhouse gas emission avoidance, the degree of innovation, the project maturity, the scalability, and the cost efficiency. So I was mentioning the structure. Now that the current structure is, as you can see in the slide, divided in general decarbonization, large scale. So for a project with a capex above 100 million euros, the medium with a capex between 20 million and 100 million euros, and a small scale for a project between 2.5 and 20 million euros. Apart from that, you have also the clean manufacturing category, which is also quite important for the geothermal sector, with projects with CapEx above 2.5, but the focus for this is on component manufacturing for renewable energy, energy storage, heat pumps, and hydrogen production. And also very interesting for geothermal, the pilot one, for which we had some cases. And the particularity of the pilot one, apart from the money threshold, is that it has to focus on deep decarbonization, meaning that technologies must reduce the relative GHG emission by at least 75% compared to the reference scenario. Here you have a bit of an overview of the amount that's been dedicated since 2001. We had a lot of different calls through these years. There is not only the general call, but there is also, for example, a separate call on hydrogen auction, and the new also heat auction, which is also very interesting for the geothermal sector. And there will be probably also some novelties for the new calls, as I will show you later on. In terms of general data of this 5-6 years of call running, here you can see a bit some numbers. In fact, that more than 300 projects in total, with 241 ongoing, plus some projects about to sign the agreement. You see, for example, the different amount of project for the different scale. So the large scale is the one with the most project, both ongoing and finalized. Here is also interesting to see a bit the project portfolio in terms of the percentage of the various clusters. The energy intensive industry one is the biggest one, and it also includes different technologies, as you can see on the right, like hydrogen, cement and lime, refineries, chemicals, etc. Then also the manufacturing part, it's quite important. It's a little bit less in terms of percentage, the one of renewable energy, and in this I put here a red arrow to signal the geothermal one, for which only 2 projects are ongoing, and we will see later on. Of course, there is big room for improvement for our sector, in order to see in future calls also geothermal represented in a better way. Today, for example, is the deadline for consultation for the future innovation fund call, and we at EGEC we just submitted our position also, starting from some of this data and the opportunities of the geothermal sector, also through maybe the modification of some of the criteria in order to apply to the call. I mentioned the 2 ongoing project. One is well, the Ever project that already started production, electricity production in Germany, and was awarded a couple of years ago 90 million by the Innovation Fund. The other one is the GESIS project, which was awarded during the 2024 Innovation Fund call. Here you can find some information about this project, located in Italy. So GESIS aims to develop a first of its kind geothermal plant combining deep geothermal energy, high temperature aquifer thermal energy storage. So we're talking about ATIS, and a large scale heat pump. So the entry into operation is foreseen for end of August 2028. I'll also put down the link for you to find more information. Just to say that this was a pilot project in the if you have in mind the category that I showed before. So the scope also of this plan will be then to provide around 67,000 megawatt of renewable heat annually to a large hydronic greenhouse facility in Italy, almost completely decarbonizing its thermal demand, and expecting also to achieve over 99% relative GHG emission reduction, which is also important as a criterion of the call. Having a look also then at the last Innovation Fund call, so it's the call 2025, which was open in December last year. At this stage, we only have some data about the proposals received. So there are 358 proposals received for 17.5 billion in grants requested. And here you can see, for example, also the different budget of the various baskets that I mentioned before. So for large scale project of of course, quite a big budget, but also in proportion for all the other calls. And then it's interesting to see a bit the comparison with the two previous years. You see that in terms of total proposal received, numbers are pretty much aligned with last year. What we see as a difference, it's a reduction of proposal are the large scale, probably also for the fact that since last year we also have the heat auction call. But this reduction in large scale was then balanced by increase in other topics, especially, for example, the medium scale project. And another interesting data is the fact that 1/3 of application were resubmission. With 45% in the case of large scale projects, which means that these calls are highly competitive, and also then the budget is limited, so it's very difficult to be awarded, and sometimes also project developers try to resubmit also for several times in order to try to succeed. Regarding this current call in terms of sectoral distribution, it's also interesting to see a bit the demand for the various subcategory. We also have quite a number of geothermal project proposals in comparison if we look at the other renewable energy sources. So this is also another point that we want to underline to the European Commission, in the sense that there is demand regarding our sector to be granted some project under the Innovation Fund, and this corresponds also in terms of budget distribution, in the sense that also in terms of money requested by this project proposals. And let's see how we will go with this 2025 call. Then also put a couple of slides of information on how also to apply to that. I have to say that the Commission website is quite clear and straightforward in terms of process application, at least at the beginning, on how to start the application. That maybe it's a bit of a burden later on to comply with everything. This is also why they have this project development assistance, which is designed to help promoters improve also the writing of the application in terms of investment readiness, and prepare for the Innovation Fund calls through different tools, as you can see here. Here I put also some link in order to directly access those tools. In order to apply, you have to sign up for a contact account and to send all inquiries directly to the Innovation Fund team. And then when sending your request, you will need to fill the information requested and provide, if already available, business plan and initial financial model, feasibility study and related technical studies, contracting strategy or related agreements, and other supporting studies. And here you have also the useful contact to write to if you have problems in this sense. Then I said that last year was the first time of another call linked to the Innovation Fund. So it's not the general call. Is a specific call called Innovation Fund Heat Auction. So it's a call specifically for industrial process heat via electrification and direct renewable heat. So to be the beneficiaries can be the companies that switch to the Commission or deploy electrified or direct renewable industrial process heat solution and realize emission reduction, a fixed premium subsidies in euros per ton of CO2 abated is the way it will be auctioned, and also the bid consists of then this price of euros per CO2 avoided, and the volume in tons of CO2 abated per year over 5 years, and the thermal capacity of the project. Here also I put all the information then and the link to find the specifics about this heat auction call. In terms of main eligible requirements, proposal must consider, as I said, the deployment of industrial process heat electrification technologies, which means that, for example, also geothermal heat pumps are including. And then there is the explicit mentioning of direct renewable heat technologies, and specifically geothermal and solar thermal are mentioned in the call. In the past call, process heat below 100 degrees was not eligible, and there was a maximum grant amount per bid of 2050 million, and a minimum project size of 5 megawatt terawatt on newly installed process heat capacity. Now the Commission, after some also stakeholder consultation and assessment of the first result of this call, is modifying some criteria, and we also responded to the Commission in order to give our opinion and to make this criteria more favorable to the geothermal sector, also because no geothermal projects were awarded last year. You have a bit the numbers of the call. So 65 heat projects were selected, and you see the various industries. So with a big percentage, for example, for food and beverage, pulp and paper, but also chemicals, etc. It's interesting then to see in terms of technologies the fact that direct resisting heating was the most awarded, and also indirect resistor heating, then very few solar thermal and not geothermal one. So these projects were awarded quite recently at the end of May, out of 85 builds. And now the Commission announced that next call will be on the 1 billion budget. And as I mentioned before, the Commission opened a consultation and already drafted some new terms and conditions in order to modify some aspects of this call. In particular, they said that probably the scope will be broadened to include also nuclear heat. Then the CO2 accounting will be simplified with only the possibility to have a single ETS heat benchmark factor. Then the auction basket will be restructured from 3 baskets to 2, with a larger share of the budget shifted to medium temperature heat, and part of the basket open to large 80 to 100 degrees projects. So 100 degrees is no more the lowest threshold. Then the proposal is also to have a more favorable treatment for new COP threshold from 2 to 1.5. And then also the previous flexibility logic is replaced by a new bid bonus system. These are all technical details. Just for you to know, we, as I said, we responded also to this consultation, especially also to underline the importance of maintaining a high COP of 2 rather than 1.5, because this will give a more fair treatment also, for example, to geothermal heat pumps technologies. And for the rest, we are, for example, in favor also to lower temperature and also to more flexible bonus system. So in terms of planning of the new calls, this will be the new structure announced by the Commission. So something will change in the sense that probably there will be a separate call for SMEs for simplification purposes. Since the beginning of the Innovation Fund of 5-6 years ago, that the Commission is saying that they're trying every time to simplify more and more the call, especially for small medium enterprise. So this time they will have a separate call, and for the rest, we know, as I said, that it will be confirmed a second ETH auction call, and there will be another net zero technologies call for proposal. So here you have a bit of a summary of next deadlines. So the Innovation Fund usually always open its calls in December. So in December you will receive the notification also by us for the opening of all these calls mentioned. Then I will briefly go through a couple of live proposals that I think can be interesting to, especially to a lot of our members, also because they are a bit linked to some live projects also that we participated in the past. One interesting live call is called supporting the delivery of actionable, integrated, and comprehensive local heating and cooling plans, for which the deadline is mid September. So in terms of impact perspective, it's the delivering actionable and integrating local heating and cooling plans aligned with the EU and member state guidance and requirements to empower local regional authorities and support them in creating lasting institutional planning and governance framework, and also engage public and private stakeholders. Just to give you a bit a background to this is linked to the fact that recently some EU legislation has been revised, in particular the Renewable Energy Directive and the Energy Efficiency Directive. So from the Europe perspective now, there are some obligation for municipalities above 45,000 inhabitants to draft some heating and cooling plans. So this call is to gather some stakeholders in order to also help these municipalities and local authorities to draft these plans. And from a geothermal perspective, this will be very interesting, very important, because as we know, that one of the first problem of spreading out geothermal in Europe is the fact that sometimes we have a lack of knowledge and capacity, especially at local level. So also when a lot of municipalities, when drafting the plans, the first important thing is for them to know also of the existence of the various geothermal technologies and opportunities that can be included in those plans. And the second interesting live call is the one about supporting the clean energy transition of European industry and businesses. This is maybe this is linked more on the industry side a bit, as the Innovation Fund ETH auction call, in the sense that the focus is decarbonizing industries. We already had, as EGEC, we're already coordinating a project called EPAM for industry, and that it's precisely targeting some industrial sector in order to be decarbonized, and this is a bit of a step up to continue on the path of decarbonizing industries with renewable energy solution. Last topic on my side is a couple of words on the CEF Energy specifically for a cross-border renewable energy project. So this CBRES process is a specific call for which for which you can see the criteria here in the slide. So eligible projects include renewable generation based on any renewable energy source, all sectors included, so electricity, transport, heating and cooling, but also storage, IT system, grid connection. But the particularity of this call is that it needs a cooperation agreement or any other kind of arrangement between two different countries, because these are cross-border projects. Then it needs to include cost savings or benefits in comparison to a similar project implemented by one or member states alone, and then the potential overall benefits of cooperation that should outweigh its cost. So project eligible can be in terms of a physical cross-border impact. So for example, renewable energy projects are at the border of two countries connected, for example, to both grids, but also non-physical cross-border impact. So two distant countries jointly financing, for example, a wind offshore park, etc. And here you have some example of the calls of the project that has been awarded. No geothermal projects by now, but we've been also in contact with the responsible people on the commission that are really trying to expand this call and to have also other technologies such as geothermal included there. So here I put a bit of a summary also of the path in order to be included in order to apply for this call. You can put also a link to see how to apply directly. And the important thing to know is that now there is an opening for application with a deadline on the 6th of October. So I really encourage you to have a look here then at the Commission website in order to see all information. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Okay, now let's move to the Global Gateway. I will share again my slide. Yeah, sorry, it's always like this that you cannot find the button. Okay, so I hopefully you will see my slides. No? No? It's weird.
Not yet.
Okay. I don't know what. Now you should. Okay, yes, I see. Yeah. Now it should go. Yeah, now it should be okay. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So Global Gateway. Actually, it's the first time that we talk about this initiative from the European Commission during one of these webinar funding opportunities, but because indeed there are several options really of interest for the geothermal sector. So first of all, what is this Global Gateway? So basically it's the EU strategy to invest in sustainable and let's say trusted connections in third countries. So it aims at look at different areas like digital energy, of course, transport and others like health, education in relation to third countries. So that's why also Philippe before referred to the more export area of this kind of initiative. This global gateway addresses some of the most important global challenges. So it has an international and global dimension, of course, where energy and renewable energy can play a very important role. How it is structured. Basically, it covers a span of years from 2021 to 2027. And as you can see, the idea is to mobilize 300 billion within this time frame, not only in energy, but on different areas in cooperation with the third countries. Indeed, 300 billion. How this is translated in terms of guarantees volume, it's 53 billion. And this will lead to more than 200 billion in sustainable investment. So very interesting initiative with an impact on the third countries, but now looking also at the renewable energy side aspect. The global gateway is composed by different tools and instruments to support the different fundings. The most important one is this European Fund for Sustainable Development Plus. It's the new version, let's say. And indeed, it's the new and main risk sharing instrument for the period of, again, 2021 to 2027. Within, it has a structure that covers open architecture guarantees, European Investment Bank dedicated guarantees, and blending. But we will deep dive a bit on this later. Just to provide more information with this fund. The idea is to offer a variety of risk-sharing instruments up to 40 million and to mobilize more than 100 million of public and private financing to support indeed partner countries. So it's not third countries in general, but it's more addressing those countries that have developed a partnership with the European Union, which are of course still a lot. So it's interesting to see how this will be played in the time that it's still we have. So as I said, the structure covered these three main tools, these three main aspects. The open architecture guarantees provides let's say a budget allocation of around 13 billion to allow investors to finance projects in challenging markets where the risk will be assumed for creating more for supporting these unstable environments. The idea is they are offered to favorable and high competitive terms. So there would be a call to apply, and we are going to look at some of these that are could be for interest for the sector. Then there are European Investment Bank dedicated guarantees. Here, the budget allocation it's around more than 26 billion in guarantee capacity to back the European Investment Bank's investments outside the EU. So in a relationship with third countries partners with the EU. And then we have the blending option. In this case, the idea is that projects that have a public value, but it's not monetarized, let's say, and where guarantees cannot be addressed in this case, then it will be possible to access the blending option within this European Fund for Sustainable Development Plus. So this is the last resource, let's say, to still support this kind of partnership and project development. So moving to the first, this is within the Open Guarantee architecture. So I will provide you with the links, but you can find them online. It's let's say a call, and you can see that the implementing partner changes according to the call. Here is the FDA from France, and the guarantee volume here is up to more than 150 million. And the focus, it provides the focus of where the project should be developed. So here it's quite broad. So Sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. And it's still open for investment until March 2028. This project in particular, this call, Accelerate ET, the idea is to contribute to more reliable and environmental friendly and sustainable energy supply indeed in the regions of Africa and Asia Pacific region. Here the guarantees serve to promote investment and also access to financing for energy, utilities, and independent power producers. The idea is to support also the countries in this area to accelerate the transition to energy system. So the broadly discovered generation, transmission, distribution, storage, energy efficiency. So geothermal can play a role within this set of calls. So interesting to deep dive more on it. Another example is this Africa and is this Africa GreetGeo. Here you see the implementing partner is different, is the Impact Fund from Denmark. And the guarantee volume, it's up to 15 million. And in this case, appunto, the African GreetGeo acts as a sort of a trader of renewable energy generated in Southern Africa power pool. The idea here is to purchase electricity from power producers under commercial terms, so under PPA, with each individual producer. Then moving to the ETIP, renewable energy transition. Here you see the guarantee volume, it's much higher than what we saw until now. So interesting. In this case, the geographical focus covers also Latin America and Caribbean. And the program in general addresses the gap related to energy access in these areas. So the idea is to support investment into renewable energy subsectors, and geothermal is mentioned. So here it's along with other, of course, renewable energy sources, but geothermal is explicitly mentioned in this project call, let's say. Green energy for Africa and Asia. In this case, the program focuses on energy, on renewable energy investments. Again, geothermal is mentioned again also in this project call. And you see that again the guarantee volume here is also very very high. And finally, with high bar, the idea behind this call is to support more generally the proliferation of investment in the next generation of climate mitigation measures and in businesses in the energy sector. And also has cover also energy intensive industrial sector. So there is also the industrialization aspect that it's getting more attention, and some also attention to the critical raw materials. So how geothermal lithium could play a role within this call as well. So these are just a few examples of the other opportunities that where geothermal projects could be could provide actually some benefits to these calls, and so I will post here the link of this where to find more information. You can see that are still open for investments, so I recommend you to have a look at it. If you already, of course, are operating in some of these in some of these areas, or you were intended to do it. And with this, I will move to the last presentation of today, and I will invite Gerdi, yes, yeah, here, Gerdi, to present your now presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity to say something about the Clean Energy Transition Partnership. And I think I should share my screen. That doesn't seem to go well. Sorry. I will stop sharing. Try it again. I need this one. Yeah. Sorry for this. I'm pleased to be here. I am Gerdy Breembroek from Netherlands Enterprise Agency, but also in the Clean Energy Transition Partnership, the leading expert for heating and cooling. We are, and I will go to my next slide to start talking about the Clean Energy Transition Partnership. We are 30 national and regional funding organizations that offer subsidies for transnational research and innovation projects. And those transnational projects, I will keep it very brief, so it's very to the point today. A transnational project needs to have at least 3 funded participants from at least 3 countries. And we're focusing here on research and innovation. So a funding budget per project is mostly between 1 and 3 million euros, but it may be more, it may be less. We offer annual joint calls, and it's a 2-stage submission process. There's a pre-proposal deadline on the 8th of October, and there is a full proposal deadline on the 11th of March. And this call, also this year, covers geothermal energy. There are 10 call modules or topics in the Clean Energy Transition Partnership Joint Call of 2026, and 2 of them are relevant for geothermal energy. That is first the call module 7 on heating and cooling technologies. This call module covers research and innovation on all parts of the geothermal value chain. And it also covers research and innovation on thermal storage, including geothermal storage, so underground thermal energy storage, seasonal thermal energy storage is, and when it comes to research and innovations directed towards improving those technologies. If you have something like that, and if you have 2 excellent partners in other countries than your own country, then CET partnership might be the right instrument for you. There's the call module 7 that I was talking about, but there's also the call modules 3A and 3B, which are call modules on advanced renewable energy technologies for power production. These modules cover also research and innovation for all parts of the geothermal power production chain, excluding drilling. So it's including geothermal power production technologies, doesn't include drilling. If you have drilling projects, see if they can be interesting for heating and cooling technologies, then you can go there. And if not, you need to go to Horizon Europe. core modules 3A and 3B have the same content, but a different TRL level. So it's for the earlier stages and the pilots and demos. It's important to understand that this CET partnership is a collaboration of 30 funding organizations that all fund their national parties. So you need to know if your national funding organization is participating and if it's participating in the particular core module you're interested in. So you need to look into the call text, and I kept this brief on purpose just to highlight here can be opportunities for you, but you need to consult all the information on the CET Partnership website. We have a website, that won't be a surprise. There's also the particular information on the Joint Call 2026, and if you want to go there, you should find the web page that you see on the left-hand side of the slide here. You can scroll down this page and watch the core launch event recording to make you aware of all the requirements and all the opportunities that there are. And you also need, and that is essential, you need to read the call text. And the orange arrow on the slide here shows where you can find it. It's the call text. It's budgets per funding organization. It's requirements per funding organization that you also need to study. And there's also opportunities for matchmaking that we make available to everybody that's interested. And I can say that each and every year there are one or a handful of projects on geothermal energy that can be funded. So it may be interesting for you. Consider using CET Partnership, our call, for boosting your research and innovation. And that was the appetizer I would like to give here. And it's back to EGEC now. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact the Clean Energy Transition Partnership, and you will be guided to the right persons that can answer you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gadi. And there's a question for you. It's about which country is eligible, and notably is Switzerland eligible for CETP in 2026?
Well, I think they're not participating this year, but I could look it up for you and give the correct answer in the chat in a minute.
Perfect. Thank you, Gadi. Maybe I will ask my colleague Julia and Emil also to join us on board, and we are here to answer any question you may have. Let's know, maybe we'll answer a lot of questions typing in the chat and the Q&A. If you want to raise your hand, we may allow you to have an oral question, so feel free to raise your hand or to ask any question you still have to us. I think one question not answered, Emil, you can answer it, is that indeed the ETIP auction is not only for deep geothermal, it's also for shallow geothermal. No?
Yes, indeed. It's not only for deep geothermal, but also shallow geothermal. And for example, as I said in the previous call, there were not geothermal projects awarded, but there were a lot of heat pumps project awarded. So potentially also geothermal heat pumps project can be awarded. So it's not an issue of how deep it is.
Thank you, Emil. Gerd, there's another question. Then you are looking for the data reason is what is the TRL expected from this call?
When it comes to the core module 7, we expect projects to start at a TRL of minimum 3. but we're looking at technologies that can have an impact on the market. So the higher you are on the TRL scale, or being higher on the TRL scale is an advantage in proposing a project. When it comes to the core modules 3A and 3B, there's a distinction. When you start at a TRL between 3 and 5, you apply for the core module 3A, and if you're starting at a higher TRL level, you apply for other core modules. And I can confirm that we don't see Swiss funding in this year's call, unfortunately. So if you want to collaborate with Switzerland, or if you are a Swiss partner, you need to somehow make sure that you have your funding arranged in another way than through participating in CETIP partnership. You can be part of a funded project, but you will not be funded from a Swiss organization then.
Thank you, Kelly. I see that Kevin raises hand, so I'll allow you to talk. Kevin, floor is yours. You have to unmute yourself. In the time being that Kevin can take the floor, let's answer some questions. One is quite general: is the UK eligible for these funding calls? It's depending program per program. So indeed, sometimes, as Gadi mentioned, for CETP, some non-EU countries are also joining funding, and if they provide funding, they are making eligible the entities from this country. We know that UK was eligible for some codes in Northern Europe, so it depends really the funding codes. Another question was from Jean-Paul Drollet. A resume slide and a briefing of the financing programs. It's a product we give for free for the EGEC members. So indeed, as a member of EGEC, Emil will provide you by end of the month, now with plan, an update for guide on EU funding. It's a 100-page document where you have a full briefing of different funding programs. Gerd, another question to you is that you mentioned that drilling projects are not included. Is it the case even when we are testing drilling technologies and pilot drilling?
I would want to just say that this is the case for the core modules 3A and 3B, not for core module 7. So if you have innovations for drilling, for heating and cooling or thermal storage, that's fully eligible. If you have something that is specifically for electricity generation, it's not eligible, and I don't see any other information there. So I can only conclude that this includes pilot drillings, etc.
Thank you, Gadi. And as always, we ask all participants to check the website, because in the website you have really all the criteria, all the detailed information. Emil, the last question seems to be for you. Can you elaborate on the SME program you mentioned earlier, Emil? What kind of activities does it finance, exploration and drilling, for instance?
I guess the reference would be on the Innovation Fund, right? The new SME code.
I assume, because indeed there's also Horizon Europe SME instrument, but it's different. So I assume it's this one.
Yeah, so for now we don't have many information, in a sense that the Commission just had an info day last week for the new structure of the Innovation Fund. What they said, they just said that they probably, for the next call that will be launched in December, there will be a separate call for SMEs, but we don't have information yet. So as soon as we know more about that, we will also inform our members.
Thank you. And I see that Gabriele Schaleger wants to talk, so we open the mic for you. We can ask your question already. Gabriele? No, it's a single attempt so that somebody raises his hand and we give a floor, but person is not able to speak. I think we have answered all the questions. Thank you, Gadi, also for using the chat for Northern Ireland and South Africa. I think with that, we can, before closing the webinar, give the floor back to Luca for some conclusions, and I will go to a last slide for you. Luca.
Thank you, Philippe. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a really complete overview of the instruments, and I think we can confirm that ETIP and EGEC are available for clarifications if needed and to support. And I also wanted to mention that together with the IWG team that Gerdy is chairing, we have completed the IWG vision document, and we are working now on the strategic research and innovation agenda for geothermal. That's a very important step. Sorry. Yeah, I think it's just update on the activities of ETIP. The new strategic research innovation agenda will be submitted to the set plan in mid-October. So in let's say 3 months from now. Thank you very much for everyone. To everyone.
Thank you, Luca. And I think it's time now to conclude this webinar, announcing you a new webinar we do next week on Thursday, 9th of July, the release of the EGEC market report. We are drafting this market report since 2010 is one of the best editions this year. If you're a business manager, you will find information. Last year, several power plants and district heating plants have been commissioned. In this market report, you will find how many wells were drilled, at which depth, to which temperature, which flow rate, which company provided the piping, which company was drilling as a drilling contractor, if a heat pump was provided to the district heating plant, who was the provider of this heat pump, and of course, much more information on project funding, review of the market. So really, we encourage all of you to look at this webinar on the market report next Thursday from 11:30 to 12:30 Brussels time, because it will be really a lot of information for you to help us to develop the geothermal business all over Europe. I thank you, all of you. We are more than 250 people joining this webinar. Presentation will be available. Video recording will be shared. And with that, I wish you a good end of the year. And thank you, Gerdy, for having joining us to this panel. Thank you, Emil and Julia, for your good presentation. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.